Hey, welcome back to another update of my Canadian dividend investing portfolio. So if you're new to the channel, I'm a Canadian investor buying and selling primarily dividend paying stocks on the Toronto Stock Exchange. I'm using Wealthsimple Trade to make those purchases, and I'm tracking everything in this custom Google Sheet that you see that I built myself. So there's links to everything in the description below, but basically in this video I'm just going to run through so far the dividend portfolio performance. We've been going for about 11 months now. I'm going to make some updates to my spreadsheet, just basically like exactly how I would even if I wasn't filming, just so you can follow along and see what it's like. And then I'm going to also purchase some stocks and we'll log those in here, and you can kind of just get an idea of what it's like for me as an investor to just go about my business buying stocks and tracking and kind of making sure I am fully aware of what's going on in my portfolio. So with all that said, the stock value right now is sitting around $49,000. I have about $420 in cash, so I'm going to spend some of that today, but probably not all. And we can see here that we're up $3,420, and actually we're missing one dividend in here. So basically, so far we've logged $449 in dividends, but I know that there's one outstanding one since I made the last video. So let's just jump into Wealthsimple Trade, and I can actually just go straight into the activity tab here, and I have it filtered for dividends in all accounts, but basically I'm only really using the tax-free savings account right now. And you can see here on July 22nd, I received a dividend from ATD.B of $2.54. So I'm going to drop this back into the Google Sheet in the dividends tab. So that's right here. And I literally just track every time I get a dividend. I just drop it into this tab as I get them. I don't bother worrying about tracking what's going to come. I just wait for the notifications, and then I just drop them in, and I find that that's a pretty easy way for me to track my own performance. So this one came through on July 22nd, 2021. It was $2.54, and that was in fact in Canadian dollars. So on the summary page, once I've logged that, we can see that for July, my dividend income has gone up a little bit. It didn't go up, it means like I've actually tracked it now. It already happened. But yeah, basically we can see that the total account, has been reflected now, and now it's actually correct with the total gain here. But basically, we're looking at about $3,400 of gain. It's about 7.44%, which is not bad, I think, in under a year, especially considering most of the money that I put in was not right at the beginning of like a year ago. A lot of it has just been coming in, and just even a month or two ago, I added in quite a lot. So I think this is pretty decent gains. But also given what's been going on in the markets, pretty much anyone that put money in last year would be experiencing some kind of gain anyways. But like I said, all the stocks, almost all the stocks that I have pay a dividend, and the average yield is 4.12%. If you don't know what that means, basically just for holding these stocks, like the stock price will go up or down, it's just going to do its thing, but they're basically going to just pay you money, which goes into your account, like into your Wealthsimple account or something like that. In cash, which you can withdraw or you can use to buy more stocks. It's just a cool benefit of buying these dividend paying stocks, and that's what I really like about it, because with the amount that I own, I'm getting paid about $2,000 a year in cash just because I hold the stocks, and generally all of the stocks are increasing as well. And so that's how you can kind of see, I'm getting a 4% cash distribution, but I'm up 7%, so like the stock prices are going up, plus money is rolling in, and it's just nice money, just flowing in towards me, and that's kind of the whole point of this. And I find tracking everything with this Google Sheet really helps me to visualize it better than just using the Wealthsimple platform alone, which is really good, but just some of this information here I find a little bit helpful for me for planning and kind of framing exactly like what's going on. So anyways, what we're looking at here now is the portfolio page where I have all of my individual positions. Basically the positions are like each different company that I hold stocks in, and let's sort it here just to make sure that the biggest positions are at the top. I find this to be a helpful view. So you can see I have a lot of real estate stocks at the top, followed by a whole bunch of other stuff. And you can see the breakdown here. I'm like very heavily invested, like over invested in these companies. I would prefer to have under 5% in every position, but such is life. These were a pretty good buy at the time. And when we come down to the bottom here, we can see that most of the stuff was in the green, and then there's a couple red ones down here, especially at the bottom, but these ones are making up pretty small percentages of my whole portfolio. So for example, like the $49,000 that I have in here, I've got about $500 in Cineplex, $274 in this company, whatever. And even down here, Shopify, just got like $7 in there. which is actually funny because I just bought Shopify 0.0036 shares just so I could make a video about what it's like to buy fractional shares with Wealthsimple, and I've already made 37 cents on that, so that's awesome. Good job, Shopify. I'm probably going to sell this because I just don't need like $7 in one position, but we'll see. I'll get to that later. Now, something that I want to do in the portfolio is I want to build out some of my positions, or like invest more into the companies that I have smaller holdings in. And the ones that I'm looking at today include CN Railway, Canadian National Railway. I just started my position in them like last week, I think, and so I only have 3 shares, and I'm probably going to buy another one just here in a minute. We'll show you the spark line for them in a second. The other one that I was looking at is Waste Connections. These guys are a great growth stock in my opinion. They're actually trading at all-time highs right now, but I'm okay with that still. You'll see that when I compare it to the spark line here of Canadian Railway. And then there's 2 other small ones in here that I'll be purchasing as well. So when we look at the spark line, this information is like available usually in your broker, including Wealthsimple Trade, but I also like having it in the spreadsheet as well, just so I don't have to switch windows or something to check it out. But basically, looking at Canadian National Railway first, so they're going to be down here. You can see in like their all-time, they have some solid growth in the last year or so. They're actually down a little bit. You can also get a view here of this if we search the 5 years. They're up quite a lot in the last 5 years, but they've just dipped down. It appears to be a dip. Of course, it could always just be the beginning of a downward cycle, but we'll see. I definitely just want to add in some more to here because also it's just a small position of mine, and I'd like to get it up beyond just a few $100s because you've seen some of my other positions are in the few thousands. So I'm going to jump on this. I'm already up a little bit from last week, almost 3%, which is great. Yeah, just throw some more money in here. When we compare this to Waste Connections, we see a slightly different story. Waste Connections is just on like rampant growth. They are one of my best performing stocks, let's say overall. Just like pretty much a straight line going up. You can see here they're trading at pretty much their all-time high. But they're almost always trading at their all-time high. They were here, they were here, they were here, here, etc. It's probably going to pull back a little bit, which is okay, but in a couple of years, I'll be looking back at this moment, maybe, I think, as like, man, it's going to be somewhere down the line. But these guys just grow at a very rapid rate, and I'll show you in Wealthsimple Trade kind of just how much they are growing. And so actually, I'm not too concerned with them to be buying at the all-time high. It's not something I would necessarily do with some other companies, but with him, I'm pretty okay with it. 2 other ones that I was looking at as well that I just wanted to drop in a little bit of money if I had some cash left. Actually, if you look back in the portfolio, they are also in the bottom half of the portfolio. So one would be Hydro One, making up less than 1% of my account. And the other one being Savaria, which is right here, making up pretty much exactly 1%. So if we check out their spark lines, let's just drop in here at the all-time. So Savaria, these guys make like wheelchair lifts and medical devices, and not medical devices, but like mobility devices. So they're actually pretty close to their all-time high, but they've been there before. Who knows? There's a chance that they either drop off again, but this is a company that I'm just slowly averaging in. And today I just probably going to drop 1 share in and see how it goes. I'm not too concerned about any major pullbacks here. And then the other one, Hydro One, looking at their all-time as well. The last couple of years, they've been on a pretty good growth, but their history is a lot shorter. Pretty close to their all-time high as well, but they're relatively cheap, and I'm just going to basically buy 1 share and yeah, see how that goes. So let's jump back into Wealthsimple Trade and purchase these stocks. So the first one was CNR that I wanted to pick up. That's going to be Canadian National Railway on the Toronto Stock Exchange. Again, you can see the exact same chart here. They're up 60% in the last 5 years. And they're basically just up 3% in the last year. So you can see their long-term performance is pretty good, but they've just suffered a little bit here. And I'm going to capitalize on that with just a single market buy. I'd actually like to buy more, but I don't have enough cash in the account today, so that's why I'm kind of spreading things out a bit more. Just going to take that at a market buy. Let's just see, yeah, the markets are open right now. Not enough funds to complete this trade. What? Personal account. Tax-free savings. I thought there was money in there. Okay, so tax-free savings account. That's good, actually. I kind of just recently opened up the personal one and haven't done anything there, but that's dangerous. If I'm not paying attention, I'm going to buy it in the wrong account. Okay, so anyways, we're going to buy 1 at a market buy. We're going to confirm that order. Yes, and hopefully that does, in fact, go into the tax-free savings account. Okay, cool. The next one is going to be Waste Connections, WCM. And these guys, you can see in the last 5 years, they're up 140%. That's insane. That's so cool. That's why I'm not worried about buying at their all-time high. They're just growing and growing. And even this 16% in the last year, that's in line basically with, that's even less than usual, I think. I don't know if I did that math right. Anyways, they're growing very quickly. So just going to take that as well. Market buy. And again, it's always defaulting to the personal, but we've got to make sure we're in the tax-free savings account, as I'm not yet at my limit, and I would like to max out the limit before I move on to the personal account. So that's done. The next one in here that I want to pick up is Savaria, SIS. And again, you can see the same thing here. You can't actually see the all-time chart here, but it's pretty good. They're actually up 130% in the last 5 years as well, which is great. I don't trust them as much because it's not such a straight, continuous line. But again, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't believe anything I say. You know, I'm just out here recording, you know, documenting my own journey as an investor, and definitely not suggesting that, you know, you should be copying what I do, because if I go and lose all my money, that's on me. And yeah, I'm willing to do that. Feeling a bit risky, but you know, you got to be careful in the stock market. So I'm going to take one of Savaria. That's done. And then the last one that I wanted to pick up was Hydro One. Toronto Stock Exchange, again, in the last 5 years, not as nice of a picture here, up 17%. That's not that nice, but if you look at the last year, slightly different story, you know, 9% in the last year. It's actually not as strong as I was thinking. Maybe I should like do a little bit more thought about these guys, but anyways, I'm still going to pick it up, just one share. They do have a pretty nice dividend here of 3.39%. So again, switch this to the tax-free savings account. Just take one at a market buy and make sure it's one tax-free savings account. Yep, and we're going to confirm that and send it on in. Okay, so now that I've purchased all of the stocks, what I would do is I would check the activity tab to see what I actually paid, because I'm using market buys, so the price that I actually pay is going to be slightly different than what was just displayed to me. So let's maybe sort this for just the buys so they're easier to find. And we can see in here that they have cleared and they're ready to go. So we can open them up. Basically, we got one share at 133.08, another share at 156.88, one at 20.40, and one at 30.42. So I want to take that information and go back into the spreadsheet and log each of them exactly as I did pay in the transactions tab. So here I also have every transaction that I do. It only takes a minute to drop them in, so I find this is the most accurate way to get the exact price, you know, of everything correctly, what I'm buying. But I just literally come in here and type them all in. So we've got TSE CNR. We also bought TSE WCN. We got TSE SIS, and we got TSE H. I even put them in the order that I bought them in, and I found that to be pretty helpful. So it was July 23rd, 2021, and these were all purchased on the same day, and I bought one of each. And CNR was 133.08. The next one was 156.88. The next one was 20.40. Gotta be careful, 20.40 when I'm talking, you know, not looking what I'm actually typing. And the next one was 30.42. So at this point, it's good to double check that. Actually, no, before we double check, I'm just gonna bring this down because it's Wealthsimple Trade, so I didn't pay any US, Canadian, or fees, and I did pay in Canadian. And just double check that the totals here are right: 133.08, 156.88, 20.40, and 30.42. So that is correct. And yeah, now that all those are in, it's going to update basically all of the information in my positions. But the most important thing that I'm looking for here is the change in my annual dividend income. Now, at the beginning of the video, this was sitting around, I think, $2,017, and now we're at $2,022. So that's an increase of about $5 per year in purely passive tax-free income. So like $5 a year doesn't sound like much, but it adds up. Every week or so I'm in here adding more, and it's always growing by like $5 or $10 or something like that. And what I do is I reinvest that money as I get paid into the account. I buy more stocks with it, so it kind of snowballs in that way. And then also the companies just increase the dividend distributions anyways over time. So this number will grow as I deposit more money into it, as I reinvest the dividends, and as these companies continue to grow their dividends over time. So this is what we kind of call the dividend snowball effect, and then hopefully over time it grows out of control and then eventually I'll be able to live off of this passive income in retirement without even taking out of the portfolio or like selling off stocks or something like that. So that's kind of the plan. And if you made it this far, guys, thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. And if you like this stuff and you're interested in what I'm doing, just drop a comment, with what you think, or if you hold any of the same stocks or something like that. I always love reading the comments and chatting with you guys. So with that said, if you can, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you down in the comments.